vacation that we were coming. I said, this vacation will be my last
You won't
time
come
these people
back.
will see me. I won't come back. So what I did was that back in the day, they used to organize buses for those of us from Kumasi and Accra. So there was a bus for us to come to Kumasi. So I had my trunk and then my chop box. I removed all my things, put them in what they call polythene bags, and gave them to my friends. So when we got onto the bus, then I collected all of it and then assembled them into my bag. So my big brother was thinking that, oh, he has his chop box and his trunk here. So when school resumes, he'll be back.
Wow.
I went to Tepa and I told my dad that I'm not going back. So up to date, my trunk and my chop box, I didn't go
You
back
didn't
for
go
them.
back for them.
I left
We need to
them
go
there.
look for them.
I left them there. Because
see.
when I got there, you know, young man with staying in Ashanti region, the weather was good. Here's a case. I've gone there. I went there in October, and the weather was so cold, and it was biting. In the evening, you can't step out. In the morning, you can't touch water. You have to wait sometimes around 12 midday before you can take your bath. For the sun to be up, and then to get to the water at the school pond a bit warm before you can take your bath. So I look at all these things. I don't know. I can't stay here. I'll go back to my luxury in Tepa. So I rushed back.
And what did your father think about it?
No, he was not happy. He said, no. Then you are on your own. I said, okay, don't mind. Then never mind. I will manage myself.
Are you serious?
And then along the line, he couldn't just take it. So he had to go and then arrange for me to attend Tepa Senior High. So that's where I did my secondary school.
So where did that, strict independence come from?
I don't know where it came from, but it has always been with me. Once I decide that this is what I want to do, I go at it. And I've always gotten it right.
Would you call it a rebellion attitude?
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. But to put it mildly, I would say I try to be myself. I don't want somebody to direct what I should do.
Okay.
Yeah. So once I realize that something is not good for me, yes, I take the decision and then I go with it.
Is that more like your dad or your mom?
I wouldn't be. The two of them, I didn't see anything of that in them.
I see.
I didn't see anything of that in them.
Now I'm wondering where you really got that from. If there was one lesson you learned from your dad, what would it be?
Oh, my dad, extremely humble person. Extremely. I've never seen such a person before. My dad is such a person, and everything that you tell him, he kind of accepts it. And he says, oh, if the person is telling me the truth, he's telling me the lies, just allow time to bring it out. And so he was just easygoing person.
Yeah.
He doesn't hold grudges. He's very easygoing person. And he's one person I really admire. And I pick a lot of lessons from him. He will tell you, don't fight, no need to argue, let it go. Let it go. And it's always been with me. So I have easy life.
I see.
That is why I have a lot of friends. They run around me because I don't hold grudges.
Wow. What about your mom? How is she like?
My mom, a typical disciplinarian. My dad never touched any of us.
Oh, okay.
He never touches anybody. But my mom will really discipline you. Wow. She was very strict. Even at my age, my mom would still call me and want to order me around. She'll call me and tell me, A, B, C, D, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. I tell her, oh, Mom, yes, Mom, I've heard you.
That's all.
Then it settles everything.
It settles everything. Yeah, that's really cool. So at that age, when we were much younger, what was your childhood? What was your ambition? What really did you want to be?
There was a time, Joy Amedome. I don't know where you heard that name before.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was a commissioner during a Champions regime. He was a naval officer. There was a time he visited Tepa, and I happened to be around my dad at the assembly. And my dad managed to pull me forward to have a handshake with him. So after shaking his hand, I told my dad that the man's hand, his palm was so soft. And my dad was like, yes, if you learn hard and work hard, your palm will be like that and you'll be a big man. You also be a politician like him. And you won't believe it. It really shaped me. So, Amedome, the day that he was killed, I wept that day. I wept that day. Very handsome man. I remember everything from that day. And so I'm sure it's actually influenced my decision to go into politics. So all along, whilst in Legon, I tilted towards the MPP organization on Legon campus.
Okay.
And I had a powerful political animal in my room, and the Apia Kubi was my roommate.
Oh.
Yes. Andy was my roommate. And
Rebel leader.
no, he's not. Andy was my roommate, and so we started the activism from there.
Okay.
And then we had a couple of friends who were also coming to the room, and then we were always talking politics and all that. So I believe the introduction that I had from my dad meeting Amedome actually also possibly, I don't know, somehow influenced me.
And your dad didn't have a problem with you getting into politics?
No. In fact, I don't know whether he was really waiting for that day. I won elections in December 2016, came to Parliament in 2017, and that time he was bedridden, he wasn't that strong. And I remember we telling him that, oh, I've made it, I'm now in Parliament, and he was just shaking his head and nodding and nodding and nodding. Just December 31st, 2017, then he gave up the ghost.
Wow.
Yes, just midday, December 31st, 2017.
2016?
2017.
Oh, 2017?
Yes, he waited for a whole year.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, after a year.
After a year. He waited for a whole year.
Wow.
So my mom was like, oh, your dad was possibly waiting to see you do one full year. Then he's certain that you are okay. Then he decides to go.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's a very interesting story.
Yes.
I'm sure he left a happy man.
Oh, yes. I believe so. I believe so.
But before you actually even got into politics, you did some corporate work as well.
Oh, yes.
As an
VRA,
HR
yes.
professional.
VRA, yes.
How was that experience as well?
VRA, beautiful place to work. Beautiful people. I completed Legon in 97. 98 did my service with the history department. And,
on the University of Ghana?
Yeah, University of Ghana, yes. As a TA. And then along the line, I was doing some work for an Indian company called Healthcare to promote their products in Ghana. Infusion, giving set, and then water for injection and those things. Then, so I was combining that with my national service.
Okay.
Then, immediately we finished the service, I had the opportunity of joining VRA in July 2019. 2099. 1999, yes.
Yeah.
And then I rose through the ranks. Initially, I started as a administrator.
Okay.
Then I was administrator for VRA's telecom company called Vodacom. I was there for about 2 years. Then it was somehow added to Vodacom, GT. That is Ghana Telecom.
Ghana Telecom. Yeah.
Which was later on bought by
Vodafone,
yes. So they packaged it as something that Vodafone took away. And then I moved to HR. And then I started my career as a HR person.
Okay.
The highest point was when I was made to handle VRA employee performance management system.
Okay.
I was really the anchor person, championing what we call the balanced scorecard employee performance management.
Yeah.
So I was the anchor person training the staff on how to set targets.
Yeah.
And then coordinating everything and then putting their performance appraisals together and coming out with ratings and then for them. And then on that basis, other decisions, other management decisions were taken. Yeah, so that was the highest point in my career with VRA.
Was that a transformational part for the organization? Because maybe there was an older system.
Yeah, there was an older system
before the
yes,
balance
before
scorecard and
yes.
all of that.
The older system didn't have anything like a target setting. It was the general appraisals where they talk about what do you call it, attitude to work and the quality of work and all those things.
Yeah.
But this one actually introduced proper targets.
KPIs.
Yes, KPIs, and then a criteria for measuring the KPIs and all that. So it actually changed the way we're doing business in VRA. And it's actually transformed the organization. And it's still being implemented. VRA is still pursuing that.
What was your experience with change management, especially with that?
It wasn't an easy thing because there were a lot of people who didn't accept the new initiative because they thought it was cumbersome, and some also thought that the number of requirements, because they were required to submit reports to us every quarter, and it was something that they were not ready for. And then there was an element of assessment, what we call the 360-degree assessment, where the employee has to do his own assessment of himself, and then his subordinates, if the person so has, will also do assessment on their superior.
Okay.
And then the person's peers, those who are on the person's lateral peers, were also expected to do the same. And then the supervisor, that's the vertical superior, also does assessment of the person. And they were supposed to do this. So the form has to move, the person has to do and forward it to HR for us to coordinate and then evaluate. And they were not ready. It was a very big thing. Because,
I can imagine.
Because they ask you, do for this person should do for that person, this person should do for... So it was not something they were ready for. But somehow along the line, we got a greater majority of the people going along with us.
Yeah, I find change management very interesting.
Yes.
That's why I actually asked about
exactly.
it, since you have had that experience in the corporate setup.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not
how to implement a change in an organization. What would you say is a key thing to do for anybody or any business professional who has probably a new innovation or a new system that they want to implement in an organization?
I think the anchor person is key. Whoever is anchoring the program is key, because you need somebody that people can really trust and respect. And I think that was what was going for me.
Okay.
And my boss then, Mr. Cranton, of blessed memory, very fantastic man to work with. And it made it easy because people readily accepted us. Even though they may have their own reservations, but they'll tell you that, okay, what you are saying, we will try and do it.
Yeah.
So the personality and then the approach by the anchor person is very key. If you get somebody who is not able to manage people, his people skills is somehow weak, it becomes a big problem. And so the person must have that kind of orientation, how to manage people well, and also be somebody who also listens to people. Because they may have all their issues, but you need to listen to them. Where you think you can make adjustments, sometimes even personalized adjustments. For some individuals, you do that for them.
Okay.
Because there were cases where we had to even go sit down with some people and help them to do their targets.
Yeah.
But you need to do that. Because you realize that the person, if you leave it to the person, he won't do it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if the person loses out too, the person will blame the system. So you have to help the person to come along with the system. And so it's very key that your person anchoring it is actually on top of it.
This is a whole HR masterclass you just delivered. No, but I like it. Thank you so much. This is really good. If you're just joining us, this is Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM, and I'm spending time with the Member of Parliament for Ahafo-Ano North, Honorable Suleman Sanid. Now, you can send us your messages on WhatsApp, 055-1111-997. If you have any comments or questions, they're totally welcome. Our conversation is also live on Facebook. The live video is there. You can actually join in and listen in. If you're probably driving home and you're worried that when you get out of the car you can't listen, you can actually go watch it on your phone and follow the conversation. But I'm glad that you shared that bit with us about change management and all of that. What's the biggest lesson that the whole corporate life taught you?
What it taught me was we have a very the corporate constructs. If you look at the way the infrastructure and the, what do you call it, the structures within the corporate world is sometimes you need to be very, very tactful in the way you manage people within the system. There are cases where if you are too outspoken, it can land you into troubles.
Okay.
But you have to maintain your integrity and you have to maintain your principles. But so doing, you need to also be very careful how you handle yourself within the entire system. Just like I said, sometimes you can be so outspoken and it can backfire. So you need to be very tactful. And for me, if you want to work in a corporate environment and succeed, tactfulness is very important.
Okay.
And then you need to also be very measured in your conversations. In your conversations, because it's not everything that you have to talk to people about. Everything, it's not everything that you have to. So you need to be measured when it comes to conversations. I prefer that you spend more time. If it has to do with social things, fine. But corporate issues to deal with your bosses, issues to deal with your subordinates, be very slow in sharing those things with anybody.
Okay.
Try to keep them to yourself. Because you get to see a lot of things that you are not supposed to share with anybody. And that's one thing that I really picked from the corporate world. So even in politics, sometimes I don't talk much. And so if you go to my constituent, they'll tell you, when you call me, you hardly get me speaking at length with you. Because I just decided I will listen more.
Okay.
So I listen more and then I pick and I tell you, okay, I've heard you.
Yeah.
I will see what I can do. But to exchange and then go deep into certain matters, no, I don't do that.
I see. That's quite a very good value, actually.
Yeah.
It saves you from a lot of
A
drama
lot
and trouble.
of drama and trouble, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see. So you were having a very good life at VRA. I mean, a great profession. You were making inroads. Why did you decide that, okay, let me now
Go and try politics.
try politics?
Just as I said, the political thing was in me. I had my friend Andy, we were comparing notes. He battled Kwajoban Redu and lost. And we picked lessons from that one. So 2012, my constituency, MPP, had then lost. We've lost the seat. We had then lost the seat to NDC, Akwasi Edusei. And I told myself, this is a rescue mission for me. That, at all costs, we have to get the seat back. Because even though my place is a marginal seat, but MPP is relatively stronger. But if you have a candidate who is not up to the task, he can easily lose the seat. So after the NDC candidate won, I decided that I have to start working to unseat him and get the seat back. So I started visiting the constituency more, touching base with the stakeholders, those who matter, the influencers. And then along the line, yes, people were then converging around my candidature. And then,
What kind of work were you doing? What were you telling them?
Mine was just simple. We need to rescue the seats. This is a gentleman who is very strong in the villages, and then the migrant community and the migrant population. I'm also a migrant, So let's two migrants battle it out, and then we see who is who. And somehow, that message resonated very well with the delegates. And so out of 6 aspirants, they selected me. And then I decided to change the way we did our politics at that level, where mostly in the previous campaigns, you'll find our people, our candidates, going into a community, they literally talk to the people. They don't really engage. It's more of a talking to the people. They go, they sit, they mount a platform and talk, and they move. I decided to adopt more of a town hall engagement, where I go, we sit down. I go to the chief's palace. We sit down, we go with drinks, do the traditional courtesies. After the courtesies, we sit down. The entire community will then come in. We have chairs for people to sit and feel comfortable. Then my entourage will talk to them, and then we'll allow them to also talk to us, and share ideas, and then we take notes. And after that, we then leave, move to the next community. So they really appreciated that. And I did this devoid of political party T-shirts, music slogans. No, because this is a marginal constituency. So I needed the NDC voters to come along to vote for me.
Okay.
So if you go there with T-shirts, how do you expect them to feel comfortable joining your meeting?
Yeah.
So we do away with T-shirts. We do away with songs, MPP songs. Because the focus is how to get the votes.
Yeah.
It's not about the sound and that goes with it. So most of the communities, people started coming out to listen to us. They started coming out because wherever we go, they realize that no, these people coming here, they are not even coming to do typical campaign where they will come with their T-shirts and then they are doing things that will infuriate you. When you go there, they will say things that will infuriate you. So people were coming out, and it went very, very well. And so at the end of the day, I was able to win with a margin of over 4,000. That had never happened in the constituency before.
Yeah, I think you won about 51%
yes.
of
because MPP,
of the votes.
The MPP hitherto had been winning. The highest that we had won then was, I think, 2,800 votes difference between the MPP candidate and then NDC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the 4,000, it was very massive. Even though, yes, there was a wind of change in Ghana, but I think the style that I adopted for the campaign also actually influenced the figures. Yeah, it had an impact on the figures.
And what made you win? That was it just bringing them together, or you had a certain developmental message you shared with them?
Oh, my message was more of I tried to distance myself from this business of promising them I'll do your roles, I will give you this, I'll give you that, because I knew that as an MP you have constraints, you have your limitations. So I wanted to stay clear of those things. But mine was more of a certain basic thing that I was identifying. For instance, water. Water is within the means of an MP. Drilling boreholes, yes, it's within your means. I mean, your common fund can afford that. You can drill about 4 or 5 boreholes, and that settles about 4 or 5 communities. So that was my focus. And then I left the big things as something that I would lobby for.
Okay.
And normally, I was very clear in my mind, because normally when they say something, when the community tells you, we want this, these are our challenges, and you don't manage the message, they will misconstrue it to mean that you have promised them.
Okay.
Because you came here, we told you that these are our problems, and you said you will do it. So I always have to stress on that point, that what you told me, yes, I'll take it on board. I'll do the best that I can to get it resolved, but it is not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So I'm not promising, but I'll do the best that I can to get a resolution for it. So they came to understand that was my message, and I was being real and honest with them.
Yeah.
Because I was not mincing words where some people will tell you, oh, once you said it, oh, I'll do it. No, I was not doing that.
What are the challenges of being a parliamentarian?
The challenges, especially when you are with the ruling government or the ruling party, is how far you can go with sharing information with your people. For instance, you have challenges with, you have a road construction that is ongoing. Payments are not going through. The contractor is not receiving payments. The project is being delayed. How do you communicate this to the constituents without exposing your government? It becomes a bigger challenge. So you need to manage that information. So end of the day, sometimes the MPs bear the blunt. They carry the burden of these things, because once it's not happening, the project is stalled, it's abandoned. The constituents know only the MP. They don't know anybody.
Yeah.
So they pounce on you, they insult you, they attack you, that you are not doing well.
I see.
But meanwhile, the problem is somewhere else. And how do you communicate that? How do you go and tell them that, oh, it's this from this quarter that the payment is not coming?
Yeah.
It becomes a big problem. So the MPs, we take a lot of bashing to somehow cushion the government.
Is it worth your while?
Or
has it been worth your while?
Oh, I think so. One, for me being in politics, I've come into contact with fantastic people that I don't know if I would have had opportunity of meeting them. There are great men of this country that I've come into contact with. Sitting in my VRA, I'm not sure I would have met them. Or even if I would have met them, it would have been through somebody. But here's the case, I have access to such people and I can walk to them, have a chat with them, and then share whatever I want to share with them. So I see that as something that is very good. And number two, it gives you opportunity to also air your views on certain matters. Even though if it's not even factored into the decision making, you know that yes, I also contributed to this decision making process. So for me, I think being in politics is worth it. It's worth all the hassle that we go through. It's worth the hassle that we go through. The only thing that I've realized that as politicians you need to manage is your home. It's something that if you are not careful, you end up trading it off for your political career. What I mean is that, you see, our job sometimes takes us away from home. And if you are not very careful and you don't have a very strong partner to handle the home for you, you may finish your term and then your case would have gone somewhere else.
They don't even know you again.
They don't even know you, and they will be doing something else that you don't even like, but it would have been too late. So I think that when we are in politics, you have to really, really manage. It's a thin line. It's a balance.
Yeah.
You need to balance it. Else the committee trips will take you away from home for a long time, and then by the time you come back, your home is in disarray.
This is the part we give thumbs up to Yom, isn't it?
I think I'm doing well. I agree. I'm doing well. I'm trying my best. It's not been easy at all.
Yeah.
Having two boys, managing two boys, growing boys.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing. You need to really manage it. You need to manage it.
Nice. Good stuff. You're in your second term now.
Yes.
Is there a bigger plan?
Bigger plan. I'm just for now. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. I want to see what will happen.
Yeah.
With the primaries that are coming up. When we finish the presidential, we finish the parliamentary. I'm sure my future will be very clear. It will be very, very clear.
Is it part of your ambitions as well to probably lead the party?
Oh, for now, no. I don't have that kind of ambition at all.
Why not?
One, I think you need some platforms to prosecute that kind of agenda. One, you see, MPP is a very big party with a lot of fantastic personalities. So you need to have certain platform, and then you leverage on it, and then you can then launch yourself. For now, I don't think I've gotten the platform to leverage on it and do that.
But would you pursue that?
But if the opportunity comes,
You will
if the
pursue
opportunity
that.
comes, yes.
I see.
Yes.
I mean, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa will be done with his term, and
Yeah,
there'll be a new leader. Hopefully, your
Yes.
party will still be in power.
I believe so.
Who do you think will make a better leader?
I will say this any day, anytime. Dr. Bawumia will be a very good leader for Ghana.
You think so?
Yes, I believe
Why?
so. I've dealt with him closely. There are a couple of ideas that he has, which I believe will transform Ghana. Being number 2 is different from being number 1. And I believe when he gets the opportunity to be the number 1 person, his vision will come to play. And that is where Ghanaians will begin to see the real Dr. Bawumia that we are talking about.
The traditional MPP party, a part of it think that there's a certain kind of queue, and it's time for Alan Chomating.
I don't share that belief, because I believe in hard work, and I believe in rewarding people who have actually paid their dues. Why am I saying so? If you take Dr. Bawumia, there's this point I'll keep on stressing and keep on hammering on it. In 2008, when he was selected as a running mate, to me, he was then learning how to walk in politics. So even though he gave the candidates then, Nana Addo Dankwa, adequate support, but I think it was not good enough. Then 2012, he was then coming into his element. Then 2016, he had then really matured into a good wine as a politician. And that was when he really decided to take on certain responsibilities that nobody had taken on.
Right.
Doing lectures and getting the academia to discuss a running mate. This is something that was not done. I mean, running mates come and nobody even remember anything about them. But here's somebody who had taken the whole country, giving lectures, and then the ruling government trying to respond. And so you see that he actually changed the dynamics of our politics. And for me, it was a very positive thing. And then he actually capped it with a very good performance in the northern part of Ghana, where he actually took charge of the parliamentary campaigns there and delivered. If you take the traditional northern region that he actually worked in, now broken into 3 regions, Savannah and Northeast and then Northern. As we speak now, if you put all the seats there together, MPP is currently holding 16 and NDC is holding 15.
And you think it's because of the work of
Yes,
Dr.
because of the
Bawumia?
work that he actually took upon himself to do there.
There's also that school of thought that, I mean, he has been vice president, led the economic management committee and all of that, and still we are still in some distress.
Yeah.
If you give him the chance to be at the helm, then it will go down south.
That's what I said. You see, I said he's number 2. He's number 2. He's not number 1.
Okay.
Once you are number 2, you can come up with all kinds of suggestions. You can come up with all kinds of ideas.
Okay.
But if the other members within the team are able to convince the decision maker to say that let's go this way, you just have to accept it and respect it.
Okay.
But if you are number 1, sometimes you can veto everything and say
Yeah.
that this is the direction I want to go.
So the point is clear that you support Dr. Bawumia.
I support him, yes, 100%.
Okay. Rate the NPP's performance so far
Yeah,
out of 10.
yes.
If you had to rate out of 10,
Yeah.
what would you give the NPP?
Currently, I'll rate our performance as 6.5.
6.5.
Yes, I'm being very honest.
Okay.
First term, we did very well. Second term, with the turbulence that we had to navigate our way out, I believe 6.5 is fair.
Do you think you'll be able to break the 8?
Sure.
Okay. Good stuff. I like that. Yeah, I mean, you speak with so much confidence, and I like I like it. We'll be wrapping up very shortly, and I want you to leave us with the biggest lesson life has taught you. And if you had to advise anybody with it, what would it be?
Life lesson. Be patient. Patience is everything. I've come to realize that if you are patient, as our scientists say, with patience you can even dissect the tiniest of animals. That's the ant. You can even dissect it. Because there are times that you just have to be patient, and events will settle themselves without you even touching anything. So I believe in that, and that is something that has really carried me far. I've been very patient. I don't rush into taking decisions. I allow matters to settle, and then allow time to actually help me in taking a decision. So I think patience is everything.
Awesome. That's a very key lesson that you shared with us, and I'm so grateful that you've shared this. I've totally enjoyed it. Unfortunately, we're out of time now. I mean, the 1 hour just came by so fast.
So fast. I'm even surprised.
But we have to wrap it up now. So
Sure.
let me say thank you so much for spending time with us, and God bless you, and of course the family as well. May God continue to strengthen you to keep doing what you're doing for Ghana, for your constituents, and for the family as well.
Thanks so much, Joy FM. Lexis Bill.
Yes, sir.
Kwame himself. Yes.
Honorable Suleman Sanid.
You have the warm regards from my beautiful wife, and then your boys.
Yeah.
Yelsom, Sally, and then Wintima.
My regards to them. My regards to them.
They'll be expecting you. Find time.
I have a dance video with them.
Yeah, I've seen that one. The one that you did in the hall.
Yes, I did.
You had a whole lot of gang with you there.
Yes. Please tell them I'll come for part 2.
Come. They'll be expecting you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Suleman Sanid is the Member of Parliament for Ahafo-Ano North, and we've been on Personality Profile here. I'm Lexis Bill. Thanks for spending time with my team and I. Uncle Ken will be on your radio